Okay, let's get started. There's so much information to cover. I don't want to wait too much longer. Your time is valuable. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I want to give you some stuff that you can take with you right away and make some positive changes. So once again, I always say hello to everyone. Thank you for joining me here tonight. I know in today's society there is someone pushing weight loss programs on every corner, which is great. I mean, that's really good. That's the start to a healthier lifestyle for many people. Losing weight is great, but there's more to it, and that's what we want to go over tonight. It gets much deeper than that as we go into this. So today our eating is a matter of life and death. That sounds dramatic, but believe me, I'm not one to over dramatize. What if I told you that for the first time in history, children born today will be outlived by their parents? To me, that made me sick when I heard it. I'm a parent myself. I have two daughters. When I heard that, I knew that what I'm doing is great, but we have to go deeper. We have to start to make some positive changes in our community and make a positive trend that will stick around, that we can change this, because we can change this. But it's going to be about the information I'm going to give you tonight to help you get started on those changes. We don't change our eating. Right now, we are setting ourselves up for chronic disease and illness. And some of you may already be there. Diabetes, heart disease, depression, fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, lupus, chronic fatigue, and the list goes on and on. Even Alzheimer's, dementia. Definitely, we're going to talk about weight loss and all that stuff, but our eating is the underlying cause of what's going on, and the damage that we have within our bodies is the underlying cause of our weight gain, our weight problems, but that's just a minor part of it. Chronic disease and chronic illness is starting to show a connection right to our stomach and our gut. So our goals for our patients, we address the underlying cause of disease, joint pain disorder, and weight gain or obesity, and repair the damage. And as a side effect, you will have weight loss, or you will lose the weight. The weight will drop off and your health will improve. And that's the key, is if we don't repair the damage within, it doesn't matter what the exterior looks like. You're still going to have chronic disease and chronic illness, but it starts with our eating. And just because you're thin doesn't mean you're healthy. And there's going to be some people on here tonight that are thin that have health issues as well. And that's what I want to really address. This is not just strictly about weight loss, but that is an important part of what we're going to do. But it's about changing the way that we eat, addressing the issues with our foods and with what we're putting into our body, and then getting after that and making those corrections to kind of change our lives and lead a healthier lifestyle. First, we want to remove the sources of what is doing the damage. Then we want to regenerate what they call the cell membrane. We will explain this a little bit later. And then we want to rid the body of toxins, reduce inflammation, restore proper function within the gut. When I say gut, I don't mean some guy's beer belly. I actually mean your gut system. When the food goes in till it comes out as waste, that's your gut system. And you'll see a picture of it here coming up. So we're going to cover a lot of information, and we're going to go forward to show you how big this is and how much we need to make the changes now to affect the future generations coming behind us here. So we want to make sure we can do that. Here's your gut. There's kind of a good picture of it. It comes down right from your mouth all the way down through your intestinal tract. All that stuff is involved right there. The surface area of your gut is about 2 tennis courts. So that's a pretty big area. The gut is its own ecosystem. And what do I mean by that? An ecosystem is something like a rainforest. The rainforest is a self-thriving organism. It depends on itself, and it regulates itself. So it's independent of any outside help for most part. So for our ecosystem, and I kind of coined a term that I'm kind of proud of, we should be tree huggers for our ecosystem. And what that means is we should really worry about what's going into our ecosystem within our body, because that makes a huge difference with what goes on with our health and with what goes on with our children's health and our family's health. And that's what's really important. So first, we got to embrace ourselves, and then we got to teach and help others around us. There's a balance of good and bad bacteria within your gut system. And if it comes out of balance, then we start to see a breakdown, and if we don't have a good um, um, microbiome biodiversity, it's kind of a big phrase there, but if we don't have a good balance within our body and our body's not functioning the right way, then we start to see symptoms of inflammation develop. And a key thing for me is always inflammation within the body. It goes back to my first time starting with weight loss. It was always a thing that I've always talked about. Inflammation within the body is the underlying cause of not only weight gain, but also weight issues, and also a lot of disease and issues within the body too as well. So that's one of the things we really want to address. When we see there's an imbalance, then we see breakdowns within the body, and that's when inflammation develops. Inflammation causes gut conditions such as gut dysbiosis, leaky gut syndrome, irritable bowel syndrome, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or candida. Each of these conditions prevent your gut microbes from functioning and communicating the right way. Diseases don't just develop overnight, and that's one of the things I always tell my patients. These things don't just happen overnight. It takes time for certain things to develop within the body before we actually see it. It takes years of stress to systems for it to eventually show itself and then give you more severe signs and symptoms. A study showed that 5 to 10 years before disease develops or manifests, you can measure the antibodies in the blood. So 70% of your immune system is in your gut. And that's a powerful statement for you to understand. Your immune system is in your gut. So if you're eating bad, you're taking on all kinds of stress, taking in toxins, doing all those things, are you going to be healthy? No, it's going to really wear you down. You're going to be chronically ill. You're going to have sicknesses, chronic colds. You might be the person that gets sick in October and you're sick till March. That's because we have bad things going on within our gut, that once we correct those things, we start to make some positive changes, we'll start to see a big turnaround. But 70% of your immune system is in your gut. So when we see breakdowns within the gut, we see the body's ability to fight off sickness and disease diminish. Evidence of this can be seen in another study that showed 100% of autoimmune disorders can be traced directly to your gut health. Autoimmune disorders, what is that? Everybody hears about them, but they don't understand what they actually are. Some of them, you may know, diabetes, multiple sclerosis, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, inflammatory bowel disease, celiac disease, Graves' disease, Hashimoto's disease. Those are some of the top ones that are out there. There are 80 different autoimmune disorders. Autoimmune disorders are one of the top 10 causes of death in women. So if you could change your eating and change your health and prevent autoimmune disorders by improving your gut health, isn't that a positive change? Isn't that something you would want to do? And it's something that you can do at home. You don't need anybody else to do it. You can change the way you eat by getting the right foods and getting the right stuff and getting all that stuff into your system and making those changes. They estimate that 23.5 million people are affected by autoimmune disorders. That compares to about 13 million or 13.5 million people that have cancer. So you can see it's even worse than what people expect and what people would think. Then we get into how your gut health affects your brain health. And that's going to be on our next slide here. And I want to go over that with you. So you can see the gut-brain connection. There's a lot of research coming out on this. There's a lot of talks, a lot of research, a lot of information out there about this connection. One of the things is we talked about the ecosystem that we have within our gut and how it's self-regulating and how it has self-control, and it can actually do a lot of the things on its own. But it connects directly to your brain as well, and it does that through the vagus nerve. So more and more research is showing the gut-brain connection. When there's inflammation in the gut, the vagus nerve, the vagus nerve and some of the neurons communicate with the brain and send out an SOS. So when your gut becomes inflamed and there's some issues going on down in your ecosystem within your gut, then there's connection there that sends a message up to the brain, and from the gut it reaches the brain, causes the brain to respond with behaviors such as depression, anxiety, panic, mood swings, irritability. There are even studies showing the link between gut health and Alzheimer's and dementia. More and more evidence is mounting that shows direct correlation between poor food choices, stress, and nutritional deficiencies and brain fog, cognitive issues, memory issues. So our food is robbing us of our health and well-being. The good news is that the thing that is destroying our health is actually actually the cure, or not. I shouldn't even say the cure. I don't like using that word, but is actually the thing that's going to correct your health. So our food is the key to getting back to health, but it's the right food choices that will get us back there. Here we go with inflammation again. Makes you overweight, makes you sick, puts you in pain. It does all those things. And it also connects to all these different diseases here and conditions. So cancer, you can see that right away. So 23.5 million people are affected by autoimmune disorders, which is a cause of inflammation, which is caused by inflammation, which is a predecessor for cancers and different diseases too as well. So you can see there's definitely correlation going right on. So the early stages of cancer are really inflammation, and cancer doesn't show up until about 15 years after it's started to develop within the body. That's when it becomes visible. So those things don't, like I said before, those things take time to show up. They take a while to show up, and before you even know it, you start to have those signs and symptoms, and by that time you're really sick, and you really got to do something about it. So that's what we want to prevent that stuff from happening in the first place. I just want to go back here 1 second. I harp on inflammation, and I mention this a lot. Chronic inflammation is what makes it very hard to lose weight and what makes it very hard to keep it off. One of the problems that we have is our Western diet, which is what we eat here in America, is high in carbohydrates, low in fats, and it's a big culprit of inflammation. Add that with the high stress of the day, lack of movement, lack of being in nature, and you have a recipe for poor health. So I go back to that. I mean, really, our diet is based off of false information. The Western diet is the worst diet, and it shows up, and you'll see it on some slides later on, how bad it is for us and where it's leading us. Here we go with the secret killer, and then the real cost of cheap food. Time magazine has run these articles, and they put them on the cover because they're really important, and it's true. I always tell all of my patients, you're either going to pay now or you're going to pay later. You're either going to pay for a little bit more for good foods, or else later on you're going to pay with poor health and the cost of having poor health. And believe me, I'd rather pay a little bit more now for good food than have to go through what you have to go through after you eat bad food for long periods of time. You can see inflammation there. It goes right to heart attacks, cancer, and Alzheimer's. That's just kind of reiterating what we've already talked about. It definitely has its effect on your body and its effect on disease. That slide I was telling you about. Most obese and inflamed. We're ranked number 1. So that's not where we want to be as far as our ranking for this. They estimate by the end of the year, 50% of our population will be overweight or obese. We are one of the most technological advanced countries, and yet we have the worst health. And we're ranked, I think, 37th in the world as far as healthcare, and it might be even dropping from there. So that kind of gives you an idea. Our medical profession still supports a low fat diet and a high carbohydrate diet based on misinformation. And I'm not blaming them. They're not really taught the right ways of understanding nutrition. And that's their standard of practice is not to really use nutrition. It's really to use pharmaceuticals to help treat disease and illness. So what we got to do is look at how do we treat health and treat you naturally and with good things. And that's where food comes into play. Their nutritional background is very little. And so they're teaching you from their teachings that they had in school, which is based off of the food pyramid, which is based off of old stuff, which isn't even healthy, which isn't even the right information at this time. So really, we must get more advanced in our understanding of nutrition to better serve our population and serve our people and serve our youth, which we just talked about earlier. So now let's get on to the good stuff. How do we turn it around, get healthy, and lose weight in the process? So you can see the 5 steps to recovery here. Improve diet and lifestyle choices. Number 1, that's really what we got to do. We got to improve our nutritional levels. We got to minimize our toxicity, reduce inflammation, and reduce oxidation, minimize mental and emotional stress. Our world is full of stress today. and we get bombarded by it on a constant basis. So number one, improve our diet and lifestyle choices. First step in starting to repair the damage is to change the diet. I mean, that's research based. We must first change the diet. I'm not here to bash other programs. One thing I must say is that eating smaller portions of bad food is not the answer. In the short run or in short term, you may lose weight, but the underlying damage remains, and most likely you will put that weight back on or suffer from the inflammatory diseases we discussed earlier. So eating bad food in small portions, not the right answer. It's definitely not the right answer, because inflammatory foods are inflammatory no matter what, whether you do it in small portions or whether you do it in large portions. The key to health is moderation. That's not always true. Eating foods that are bad for you in moderation will lead to inflammatory processes, inflammatory diseases, and bad health. So what we want to do is get an anti-inflammatory diet going. And that's what we want to teach you, is how to do that. And that's what we teach you with a lot of our programs. We go into an anti-inflammatory diet, start to reverse some of the damage that's been done, and then we build off of that. Now, something to be said, not all health food is healthy for you. Some healthy foods are inflammatory to some people, some are not to other people. So there's no cookie cutter program that allows you to step right in and everybody can eat the same thing and get the same results. We have to discuss and look what's going on within your body, and then figure out what's going on within your body and make those changes. And sometimes that's through trial and error. We test something out on you, your body reacts, we pull it away. You can do some testing. We can do some stool samples. We can do urinalysis. We can do some breath tests and all these different tests that we can do that are out there that are available. Those will give us some idea. But we always just start with the diet first, and we see what's going on. Once we make those changes, we can start to see some positive things happening. Then we can go into the deeper studies if we need to do that. Improve nutritional levels. Nutrition that we're going to talk about right here is supplementation. You don't always get everything within your diet from your foods that you eat. Especially if you're eating bad foods, you're really not going to get anything in your diet that you really need in many cases. So what we need to do is talk about essential nutrients. So essential nutrients are like vitamin D, probiotics, and omega-3s. Then we get into magnesium, zinc, iodine, vitamin A. They help too in a lot of the processes that take place in the healing process within the gut. Lastly, we need to get into some stuff in the help, get some stuff in to help aid in the process of the healing. So our office uses liquids and other supplementation to help get that done. We want to detox you. We want to clean it out. We want to get all that bad stuff out. Then we want to put good stuff in to kind of rebuild and repair and get it back, regenerate it back to where it should be, and get it functioning the way that it should be. So most store-bought items that you go out there. So if you go to Walmart and you think you're going to get a deal and you're going to go buy some, and I'm not just picking on Walmart, there's a lot of other places. You go buy something off the shelf, you start pumping it in, gummy bears that are vitamins. That stuff's garbage. It's synthetic. It's going to cause more damage to your body than anything else. You really have to know your supplementation, and you really have to put the money towards that, because that's also extremely important that you put good stuff in, because you put good stuff in, you get good results. You put bad stuff in, you get bad results. So it goes with your supplementation as well. We got to minimize toxicity. Everybody's in a toxic overload right now. There is so much stuff going on around us. Our environment is toxic. And so we go into toxicity, fluoride, mercury, cosmetics, insecticides, pesticides, aluminum, BPA, lead, exhaust fumes, and the list goes on and on. That word at the bottom of the slide there, I want you to remember that, because if you take nothing from this today besides that word, that'll be a word that will haunt you, because it's going to tell you that I actually know what I'm talking about. That glyphosate, that's a word that if you punch it into your computer, it's going to come up all over the place. You Google it, it's going to tell you about all the dangers of what's going on with that. It's banned in a lot of other countries in Europe, but the U.S., we still use it, and it's a toxic, major toxic pesticide. They're finding it in our blood, in our urine, and in other soils samples all over the place. So it's a very bad toxic thing that we're ingesting on a daily basis, unless you eat a really good diet. So we see toxins everywhere. The FDA has approved approximately 3,000 food additives, preservatives, and colorings. The average person ingests 150 pounds of additives every year. That's just additives. I mean, that is toxic to the body alone. Pesticides. There's 3 million tons of pesticides are used each year worldwide. More than 1,600 chemicals are used in production. Most have been tested for their toxic levels on humans. Exposure has been linked to nervous system disorders, immune system suppression, childhood cancer, breast cancer, diabetes, reproductive damage, hormone problems, asthma, ADHD, autism, migraines, headaches, developmental delays. All those things are related right back to pesticides, and we're feeding that to our kids. 10 foods that you should really buy organic. There's a ton of foods that you should do this, but strawberries, you can see right there, non-organic strawberries tested contain 22 different pesticides. Spinach, 97% of the samples of spinach contains wow, that's a tough word there. Pesticide residues, including a neurotoxin insecticide. So not only are you getting the pesticides, but you're getting a neurotoxin that you're ingesting that's an insecticide that's on spinach. You think you're eating something healthy, it just goes to show, unless you buy the right stuff, you're not eating something healthy. Nectarines, 94% contain some sort of pesticide. You get into apples. Our apples are banned in Europe because they're so full of contaminants that they don't even want them over there. So that just gives you an idea. Grapes contain an average of 5 pesticides. Peaches, 99% have detectable pesticide residues. Pears, the same thing. Tomatoes, grow your own. It's the easiest thing to grow. I think that's, if you don't have a green thumb, I think you still can grow a tomato. Celery, 13 pesticides were detected on one sample alone. Potatoes, if you don't get organic, you're getting pesticides because they're in the ground, they're where the toxins are, they're soaking it up, they're taking it in. That's just the top 10. It goes on and on. There's foods that are so loaded with pesticides that are just really ripping us apart. And if you don't understand why you should buy organic, this list should scare you into doing that, because you think you're eating something healthy, you're actually doing damage to your body. So you want to learn to avoid toxins as well. Minimize drugs, other toxins, and surgery. Buy and eat as much as possible organic produce, free-range, grass-fed, organic foods. Above all else, non-GMO. I cannot stress that enough. Non-GMO is the most important part of this. Avoid processed foods. Remember that they're processed with chemicals. Only use natural cleaning products in your home. You know, there's some great ones out there. Myers has a great product line. There's some other great ones out there. You can use vinegar. You can use different things. Use the natural stuff, because all the stuff you buy that is not natural contains chemicals that we soak in, we breathe in, we ingest it by touching or doing different things. So it's very important to do that as well. Switch to natural brands of toiletries, including shampoo, toothpaste, antiperspirants, and cosmetics. Our toothpaste, some of the brands out there, they contain fluoride. Fluoride is not necessary in today's world, in today's society. It's toxic. It can do damage to your body. So look at some of the natural brands. There's some really good ones out there. One, just to kind of give you an idea of what I use doTERRA, which is essential oils. They make a great toothpaste, and I use that, and I love it. It gives great results. We want to reduce inflammation. This starts with a diet. It's easy to change right away. You eat anti-inflammatory foods. You eat whole foods, organic, non-GMO. That's what we just went over. This is how you're going to reduce the inflammation right away. Local organic farms are best. Eat the grass-fed, eat the free-range chickens, eat the eggs that are non-GMO free-range chickens. You will take the right supplements as well. You want to take those supplements that are definitely from a good, well-known company that has your best interest at heart and not the bottom line at heart. So you want to make sure you do those things. It's really important for brain health and decreasing inflammatory issues to eat the right foods, do the right things. And as you do that, you're going to see a change, and it's going to start to change, and it's going to be a gradual change. With that comes, as you reduce inflammation, your weight's going to drop. If that's one of the things that you have to work on, it's definitely going to drop down. Your brain health is going to improve. Your cognition, your memory, all those things are going to start to improve. You're going to start to see a change. your energy levels are going to start to shoot up. You're going to start to feel a huge difference just by making that little change in changing your information there. So what do we look at for foods? Healthy fats. Fat is the number one missing nutrient that we want to have in our diet. Everybody says low fat, low fat, low fat. That's garbage. You need fat. That's what your brain feeds off of. You can see that. Your hormones feed off of that. Your cell membrane feeds off of that. You need it to lose weight. Fat burns fat. There's no doubt about it. So eating good fats is really important. Where do you get good fats? Well, healthy fats come from olive oils, fish oils. You can get it from avocado oil, avocados, raw nuts, raw seeds, coconuts, real butter. Don't buy margarine. Don't buy that fake stuff. Buy the real butter. Buy raw cheese and yogurt, grass-fed meats. We talked about that. All those things, fatty fish are best. Don't ever buy farm-raised fish. You might as well go buy Morton's, coated fish in the freezer section, because that's about the same thing. It's garbage. It's not healthy for you. You got to buy wild caught fish. And that goes for your seafood, any seafood. You should get wild caught always. Healthy fats, what they do, they build cell membranes, they absorb vitamins, they cushion vital organs, they protect you from extreme temperatures, regulate and make up the building blocks of hormones, lowers inflammation. Healthy fat lowers inflammation, allows proper cellular detox through the cell membrane, makes up 70% of the brain tissue, conjugates linoleic acid, which is fat burning. Arachidonic acid is for brain function. So you can see what it does. It helps with the brain. 3 things you should do right now. You should eat good fats, eliminate bad fats, damaged fats, replace them with healthy fats. Eliminate toxins. Start at the top of the food chain and just start getting rid of those things, and start getting those out. Sugar. Eliminate sugar. This is pretty scary. The average person, the average American, I should say, consumes 53 teaspoons per day of sugar. That will not allow you to lose weight. That will not allow you to be healthy. That will not allow you to live a long life and a healthy life. You got to reduce your mental and emotional stress. This is where exercise comes in. This is where nature steps in as well. Exercise is a great stress reducer. It's also a mood booster, not a moon booster, a mood booster. So it is vital to everyday life, especially in these times. What type of exercise makes a difference too as well. So you don't want to just go out and just do an exercise or go to a gym, just go through the motions of doing an exercise. That's just going to waste your time. Research shows that an HIIT exercise is the best for you. It's going to reduce inflammation. It's going to improve your cardiovascular health. It's going to burn more calories. It's going to do a lot more for you. What does HIIT stand for? High intensity interval training. That doesn't mean that if you're 80 years old that you have to go out there and join a CrossFit gym. What it means is that you got to change what you're doing. So if you're walking on a treadmill, which I'd rather you walk outside when the weather's nice, but if you're walking, you speed up a little bit, you speed up a little bit more, then you slow down. You speed up a little bit, you speed up a little bit more, and then you slow down. You don't do the same pace over and over again. If you're lifting weights, you can do Tabatas or different things like that, where you're going at a faster pace, lower weight if you need to, but doing the certain exercises for a certain period of time, change it to a different exercise, change it to a different exercise, and do that over and over again. We help you do all that stuff because it can be crazy to think about this. I'm actually a certified trainer as well, so that's one of the things we do help our patients with. Simple steps go a long way. So if you start off with something small, then you build up to something bigger. Don't get too crazy. You can walk outside your house, walk 5 minutes away, walk 5 minutes back, just doing that interval training. We can do a workout in 10 minutes that's more beneficial than doing a 30-minute treadmill walk at the same pace over and over again. Get outside. I cannot stress this enough. Nature is healing. And one of the simplest things you can do is go outside, take your socks and shoes off, put your feet in the grass, and just stand there and soak in what's going on around you. And one of the things that I like to tell people to do is while you're doing that, show gratitude. I'm a faith-based person. I thank God for a lot of things that I have. I thank God for where I'm at. I thank God for where I'm going to be. And I kind of think those things over and over again. I look at my goals and I focus on those goals, and and I know that I'm set on what I want to do, and I keep thinking those things over and over again, and I let the stress just disappear, and I turn those things over that I can't control to God, and I let Him take care of it. And I kind of focus on the things that I can control. And so reflect on your blessings in your life and let go of worry. I mean, we worry too much. We're bombarded by too much stuff. Turn the news off. Turn that stuff off. It's not going to do anything for you anyway. So turn all that stuff off around you. Focus on you. Give yourself 10, 15 minutes, half hour of just being you, letting yourself be you, and doing the things that you can do to kind of control what's going on in your life, and being thankful for what you do have, and stop worrying about what you don't have all the time. And that's easier said than done sometimes, but it's really important to do. Sleep comes into play here too. We got to get good sleep. So turn off your cell phones, turn off the TV. That stuff will be there another day. Go to bed, get those good hours of sleep, get some restful sleep, because that goes a long way as well. All those things come into the mental and emotional stress that's bombard us on a regular basis. So get rid of all that stuff. Start to focus on you. Start to focus on your health and the possibilities of what you can do with that. Exercise. This is Plato. This is years ago, way long time ago. And even then, it was lack of activity destroys the good condition of every human being, while movement and methodical physical exercise save it and preserve it. That's the truth. We need to do exercise, but we need to do the right exercise. Whether it's walking in the woods, whether it's being out in nature, whether it's doing those things, it's doing it the right way. It's not healthy to do the same thing at the same heart rate for the same time every day. You may burn some calories, you may do those things, but it's not going to lead to weight loss for sure. And it's not going to lead to better health in many cases, because you're not doing the right things to get you where you want to be. The power of positive thinking. Once you replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you'll start having positive results. That came from Willie Nelson. You are today where your thoughts have brought you. You will be tomorrow where your thoughts take you. Whatever you believe, you can achieve. It's scientific credibility, and that's true. What our thoughts do, they carry us a long way. So looking at things a lot differently, you should really start to focus on that. Write down your goals, write down your list, make a board up with all your goals and with all the things that you want to accomplish with your life, houses that you want, things that you want, all those things. Put it in front of you. The ideal weight that you want. Don't think about the number. Think about the body shape and what body shape you want to have. We focus too much on numbers. Weight loss is really important, but I want you to get to a healthy weight and be healthy. That's the most important thing. I don't want you to be looking at a magazine and think that you have to be 115 pounds, 5'8", and look like that. That's not healthy. We want you to be healthy, and that goes a long way. And doing that is just simply by changing your eating and doing some things that we offer here at the office. So the road to we can help. That's the biggest thing I want to get across to you. And this is my grand finale, big finish. So if you give me a few minutes, I'm just going to talk to you about this. You can see the weight loss thing here. You can see my web address. You can see the phone number there, and we definitely can help. I was once where you are right now. I was eating bad. I was unhealthy. I'm a collegiate athlete, former collegiate athlete, I should say. I play rugby. I still play rugby. It's 30 years now. I've been playing rugby. I take care of myself. I exercise. But I got into a rut where I was doing some bad stuff, eating some bad foods, got way off track, and put on a lot of weight. I lost 40 pounds in 23 days when I came up with this program, and that was the launch of this program. We have multiple programs, though. It's not always about weight loss. Thin people need help, too, and just because you're thin doesn't mean you're healthy, and there's a lot that goes to this. So a lot of our programs address not only weight issues, they address inflammation issues, health issues, joint issues, pain, discomfort, all those things that you go through on a daily basis because of poor eating, poor health choices, poor environments around us. So what we want to do is tell you that we're there to help you. We can guide you. My program is doctor supervised. So what I do is every day you check in with me, I tell you what to do. I'm going to be there with you every step of the way. You have questions, you get a hold of me. You have something that's bothering you, you let me know. We talk to you about that. We talk to you about the mental aspects. We talk to you about the physical aspects. We talk to you about the right things to do, the wrong things to do, and we talk to you about the workouts and exercise too as well. But our weight loss program is great. Our post program is top notch, and that's where I really come into play, because not only do we want to get the weight off, but we also want to teach you how to eat and get you going in the right direction for a lifestyle change. We want to change your life so that you lead a healthier life. And that's the most important thing. You can go do any program out there possibly and do lose weight. There's a lot of programs that help a lot of people and they lose weight. But what we want to do is change your life, change what's going on within your body, get you on the right path, and that way you can help others around you, your family members, teach them what to do, get them going in the right direction. We're here to help you get that going in the right direction. We do free consultations. You don't have to do it in person. I can do it over the phone. So we have people all around the country that we deal with on a regular basis. So we have people calling in all the time. We ship the stuff out that we have to ship out. We talk to them on a regular basis. We have it all under control. So everything's there. We can do it in person. If you want to meet me in person, that's great. I want to meet you too. So we want to be able to help you. So don't hesitate to ask me any questions through email. Don't hesitate to check out our website and then ask questions. It's more about getting you healthy, and weight loss is a side effect of getting you healthy, and that's what I want to do. So really look for more webinars, look for more information coming out. We're going to try and do as much as we can to help as many people as we can. I was where you were at. I changed my life, and now I want to help you change yours. And the more schooling I'm getting, the more understanding that I understand what's going on around us, the scarier it is, and the more I want to help you, and the more I see that it's overwhelming for people out there to understand what they should do and shouldn't do. So please contact me. Once again, I want to say thank you very much for taking time out of your schedule to fit me in. I hope you learned something tonight. I hope you make a positive change, and I'm here for you. Just